Boom, and welcome to another episode of Nobody Watching. It will come as no surprise to you that I am not Stephen King. I'm a lifelong fan. I've read a lot of his work. I would say most of his work, but he's so prolific, I'm certain there are a dozen so stories that I've probably missed. If you read Stephen King, it's likely you find that the stories stick with you. I mean, you just can't read pieces like The Stand, Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Gunslinger, The Mangler, The Breathing Method, It, Insomnia, and so many more, and just put them away. Instead, they find a place to nest in your memory, where they wait for the darkest nights to remind you that they are there and ready to prey on your imagination. It's the stuff of nightmares. But I guess you wouldn't expect anything less because that's his job, and if he was terrible at it, you'd be reading someone else. For me, it's more than the stories themselves. He often shares with us the flawed heroes who struggle to make it through the day, saying nothing about taking on unimaginable supernatural evil. And his gift of description has the ability to put you right in the middle of every blood-spurting, bone-crushing, soul-bending, shiver-inducing moment. And when you can conjure what he describes in a way that's terrifying to you, he's got you. But again, that's his job. After I finish a Stephen King story, I spend some time reflecting on the journey to make sure I understand the main point of the tale and to see what parts may continue to haunt me over the years to come. Then I have my what the moment when I think, what must go on in this man's head? I mean, some of the, and I say this with the greatest admiration, most sinister, darkest, twisted material ever brought to the page and ultimately to all the screens, large, small, silver, and otherwise, all came from one brain. For his own sake, I'm glad he's a successful writer because it's probably the only way he can relate to the world and have the world relate to him. Walking around with a brain full of dark stories and strange imaginings would be harmful without an outlet for expression. We all need that. But it's not equitable. Being Stephen King comes with certain perks. I am not Stephen King. Here's an example. If you read Stephen King stories over the whole of your life, you are bound to develop some interesting ideas and imagery on your own. And if you are a writer/creative type person, you tend to mull those ideas around a bit to see if there's anything there that you can use. Honestly, on the inside, it's a bit clinical. You look at these thoughts as commodities, works in progress. Now, where Stephen King is in a position to freely share his thoughts and ideas with anyone in the room and beyond, others, like me, need to be a bit more careful where they throw those kinds of thoughts. Stephen King speaks of murder, mayhem, and beasts of evil, and folks likely ooh and ah with wonder and encouragement, which reinforces the notion that the incredibly creepy idea would likely make a great next novel. But if I share a similar dark version, I run the risk of people looking at me sideways as they recoil and slowly drift away from me, lest they expose themselves to the potential damage of lightning when it comes to strike me down for those dangerous thoughts. To me, the thoughts may set the foundation for a crackerjack story. They're just thoughts, not actionable behaviors, but I'm not Stephen King. People external to me have no idea what I've got stewing around in my noggin, and I don't have a backing of a list of best-selling novels either. More often than not, what people have is a predetermined idea or a belief of who I am or who anyone is. It's a definition based on what they see balanced against their life experiences that lets them understand how they may or may not relate to you or accept you into their lives. To challenge that definition with your nutty ideas makes them question where they stand with you. Suddenly, you may not fit their definition of who they think you are. They may now feel that they don't know you at all. Some will accept and encourage. Others will restrict and distance. I think the important thing to note is that this is not the creative person's problem. Everyone needs to know that writers and everyone else who creates require the flexibility and freedom to conjure, develop, and express their ideas without the weight of your biases and judgments working against them. It's like hiking a mountain and having someone say you can't go the rest of the way up because you look like you just won't make it, or they just don't want you on the path. Well, who are they? Whatever creative journey you're on, you have the right to finish it. You can't control what you think. All kinds of stuff pops into human heads all the time. And as Prince said, if a man is considered guilty for what goes on in his mind, then give me the electric chair for all my future crimes. Broadcasters have a great catch-all they use to shield the core of their existence from retribution against expressing certain thoughts and opinions people may not agree with, and it basically says these comments do not necessarily reflect the views of this station. That's a handy get-out-of-jail-free card. I'm not Stephen King. I don't know Stephen King. I've read about him, and I've known about him my whole life. He seems like a decent enough fellow. I admire his volume of work, and he inspires me as a writer. And if every bit of my writing moves me toward being more confident in my skill, more comfortable with my thoughts and ideas, and allows me to take greater ownership of my creative energy like Stephen King, then it's worth the ride. We'll see you next time.